Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Citroen C5 Aircross. It's a French car, but before we get into details, let me share some useful information with you guys. Did you know that one major aspect that increases the on-road cost of your new car is the insurance you buy from the dealer? I would highly recommend you to get a quote for your new car from Acko Insurance on acko.com and save up to 50% because they don't charge any commission. It's completely online, very easy to purchase within a few minutes and involves zero paperwork. If you're looking to purchase insurance for your new or old car, head directly to acko.com. And back to the vlog, straight away we are going to be opening the engine bay of this C5 Aircross, which means that I need to actually figure out how to open the hood. Okay, that's how you open it. That is the engine bay. There is insulation right there. There are no hydraulic struts on offer. Engine bay actually is quite empty, even though this is one of the bigger engines on offer. The design is very much French, looks really nice and rad. I love the way the lights actually merge into the grille and the way the logo has been done. Looks really very nice indeed. But these lights are not all LEDs because this is the lower trim, which is known as Feel. The higher trim, which is known as Shine, gets all LED lights. This is of course the LED DRL. Chrome done very tastefully on this car. This is the towing hook, some fake stuff happening here. And this is the bumper of course, which has vents for cooling. And this is the fog lamp, which gets a cornering function, which is quite low. Front parking sensors as well. But you know what? This design element kind of looks out of place because this is not functional. Okay, it is functional on the other side. Coming to the side of the car, you realize that this isn't very long as such. For the price, you would expect it to be bigger, but it is actually bigger than the Volkswagen Tiguan. And a lot of design elements all over the place. You can see the design elements below the door. Well, kind of feel excess and out of place. The wheels actually look quite nice. Might remind you of the wheels on the Honda CR-V. Michelin tires, 235, 55, 18s is the size of the tires, and it gets a dual tone treatment. Obviously, you get black body cladding earnings throughout the car to reduce the visual bulk. Now this is finished in gloss black, so is the roof. You get roof rails which kind of look functional as well. And this is of course, is it the camera or is it the projector at night? We shall find out in a bit. The wipers get the dual blade treatment. There's a sensor there as well. So yes, this car looks very different, stands out from the crowd without a doubt. Coming to the rear, you've got 4 different LEDs for the brake lights. Again, looks very nice. C5 Aircross written right there. Bumper is finished in black. But Faisal Khan's fingers of truth are not happy because fake exhaust vents, fake vent here as well. You get rear parking sensors, you get a reverse parking camera as well. Says Citroen right there. In fact, you know what? This is also fake on both the sides. Where's the real exhaust? There you can see it gets dual exhaust, but yeah, they are fake on the outside. Now, the indicator is not LED. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing. And of course, you get a rear spoiler, which is finished in gloss black. Let's open the boot of the car. There it opens. Doesn't get a power tailgate. Boot is actually big enough. Meanwhile, you get a 12-volt charging socket there, along with a light placement, storage space around. And the spare wheel is actually an alloy and a full-size spare wheel at that. Impressive, Citroen, impressive. Let's close this. Okay, there's some amount of effort. It is on the heavier side. Let's get to the rear seat, which actually happens to be the USP of this car because all the 3 seats are the same size almost, which means that 3 people are extremely comfortable here. There's a good amount of legroom on offer. You can adjust the seats as you want. You can recline it like this. You can fold it. So it's 33, 33, 33 format, split folding. And you know what? You can recline it further too. So right now it's a little upright. You can push it to go back, and this is the recline angle. Seats are extremely comfortable because it is soft and then it is hard on the inside. So you feel extremely comfortable, but all the 3 seats are the same size and all of them recline. All of them can be folded. That's absolutely stunning. Yeah, under thigh support is decent. I would say not great, but decent. Legroom and kneeroom is good. Headroom is decent. Actually, it's quite good. And there's a hook and a handle. There's a light placement on the top. Same case there as well. Hook and a handle. 3 adjustable headrests. There is no center armrest because you know what? This is for 3 people at the rear, and that's how the seat has been designed. Extremely comfortable. You get rear AC vents. There's a USB charging socket here as well. Well, that's about it. Not much, but the seat comfort is extremely impressive. You get ISOFIX child seat mounts, not only at the rear seat, but on the front seat as well. Again, that's really nice. See the dashboard design. Again, very unconventional and different. Looks unique. Let's get to the front. Now, there are certain features which are missing on this car because of, okay, let me show you the doors. They open really wide enough. Certain features are actually missing on this car because this is not the top trim like I told you earlier as well. You can see the indicator there on the mirror as well, the outside rear view mirror. Let's get inside. Now, the seats are again very impressive. At the front, the cushioning is just spot on. Lovely cushioning. You know what they've done? Soft cushioning on the outside and a little harder cushioning on the inside to give you extreme comfort on long drives. Of course, it gets the electric adjust for the driver, only for the driver. It says Citroen right there. Door pockets are big enough here. These are controls for the power windows. These are controls for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. With this piano black finish, you see the design elements are almost everywhere. You got a proper dead pedal, and the pedals are of course finished in chrome sort of. There is storage space here. This is for rear child lock, which is basically for the windows as well as the doors. This is for the alarm. There's a card holder here, and this is for the headlight leveler. Now you get a massive center console. Yeah, center console is massive. That's what she said. Wow, that's massive. Let's open the front center armrest. This storage space, it's really huge. Okay, it's massive in terms of size. There's a light placement inside as well. So yeah, plenty useful storage bins inside. Twin cup holders here as well. You see, it's big, but this compartment is kind of eating into the space. I don't know what that is, but it is actually a decent sized glove box here. Now let's do one thing. Let's turn off the indicators. It tells you exactly which seatbelt is not in use right now. That's again a nice touch, and obviously you get a lot of lights here as well. The thing is, this car doesn't have a sunroof, but the one which has a sunroof, it's a massive panoramic sunroof. Here, you get a mirror along with a light. Same is the case here as well, mirror along with a light. You actually get a handle on the driver's side. Seatbelts get the height adjust function too, the front seatbelts of course. And I love the way the dashboard has been done. Quality of material is fantastic. Only thing is when you go lower down, a lot of hard plastics there. But for the most part, you can't really complain about the quality of plastics because they are fantastic. Okay, there's storage space here. There's a USB charging socket. There's a 12-volt charging socket here as well. There are 4 buttons. This is the engine start button, this is the eco button, sport button, and this is for downhill assist. In order to activate this, you have to keep it long pressed, then only it activates. Pressing it once doesn't help. Keep it long pressed and then it works. Okay, there's storage space here. Gear levers on the co-driver side, which means that the co-driver is going to shift the gears. Not really. Electric parking brake. These are the terrain modes. It's got 5 terrain modes. This is for traction control button. It's actually a front wheel drive car. Gear lever seems really very nice. It is actually very different and very unique here. Okay, plenty of storage spaces. This is of course the cruise control lever. Steering wheel is nice to hold. Yeah, it's kind of on the lighter side. The paddles actually don't move with the steering wheel. This is obviously the control for the headlights. It gets automatic headlights, and this is the control for the wipers. Okay, it does good amount of spray on offer. Where is the spray coming on from? Yeah, of course it's coming out from the wipers. Does a great job. Now this is an 8-inch screen. The only problem is these touch buttons now, they're not the most fluid to use. It gets Apple CarPlay, it gets Android Auto connectivity, it gets park assist, obviously front and rear parking sensors, tire pressure monitoring, all that is there. But you know what, you have to actually long press this to get into a function. It's not the slickest. Obviously it's a touchscreen unit, which is a nice touch. Now there are a lot of buttons here. This is obviously for the lock and unlock. Now there's actually a switch below, so that's not really of much of a concern. This is the volume controller. Let's listen to an audio right away. Audio quality is actually quite decent. It gets a 6-speaker system. Let's get into reverse right away, and here we are into reverse. Actually, I need to use my other hand. Now we are into reverse. Yeah, that is the reverse parking camera. You see, it gets guidelines. The guidelines are adaptive and sort of a 360-degree view here as well. So basically, you know what, I don't know why this treatment is done. It could have been better done for sure, without a doubt. Meanwhile, there are plenty of buttons on the steering wheel. Of course, this is for the audio system and this is for volume. Again, both of them for the audio system. This is for voice commands, and this button is to browse through this instrument cluster. Now, it is a 12.3-inch unit and you have 3 different modes for the same, so you can decide how you wanted it. Right now, it is on minimum. You can see in minimum, it doesn't show you much as such. Okay, yeah, it becomes minimum actually because it says minimum. Now let's change it again. Let's get into personal. Now in personal, you see the information it's offering. It's actually a very nice unit, and the only issue is that the tachometer is super duper small, so you can't really see it. I'm putting on dials. Again, you can see the overall graphics and all is super duper awesome. But you know what, when you actually shift this to personal, on the right side you can see there's a lot of information which is shown, which is the distance to empty and whatever, basically how much time you're driving the car. That's also pretty nice. I like the overall quality, fit, finish and feel of the car. And obviously auto dimming inside rear view mirror kind of doesn't feel auto dimming because it's on the smaller side, but who's going to really complain, because the overall feel good factor of this car is phenomenal. The horn is loud enough. You get this piano black finishing. Overall, Citroen has done a great job of giving us something which is unique. You know what, the cabin is actually wider than a Toyota Fortuner's as well. Anyways, let's do one thing. Let's start driving right away. Alright, we're all set to go, which means turning on the car, and there it rose to life. I love the way the cluster behaves. The steering wheel is adjustable both for reach as well as rake, but you know, you have to actually move it quite a bit to get the position right, and yeah, some bit of an effort. Meanwhile, let's actually get to the car display here. Not much as such, only, you know, usual stuff. It could have been more adventurous, this infotainment system, without a doubt. Let's get into drive mode. Let's get into sport mode. Yeah, there are 3 drive modes on offer. Actually, you have to keep it pressed, then only it activates. Let me turn off traction control, ESP off, and let's get going straight away. Electric parking brake down. Air conditioning is off as well. Yeah, air conditioning is off. Now, what I realize is that the initial grunt is very impressive. Huh? Right from get-go, it feels punchy. That's a nice thing because it's a big diesel engine, and other cars using a similar capacity diesel engine don't really have the same level of low-end grunt which this Citroen has. Coming around the corners, yes, of course, there's body roll on offer. The steering actually feels quite light at lower speeds, but thankfully it does weigh up at higher speeds. As you can see, the motor is a little bit vocal. You can feel the dieselness. The funny thing is that Citroen is not planning to offer diesel engines in their mass market cars, but they're offering it with the C5 Aircross. They also had the option of a 1.5 litre diesel. Thankfully, they did not opt for the same. In fact, I don't know why it's put into normal mode. Over bad bumps now, especially over really bad potholes, the car gets a little ruffled, but for the most part, ride quality is super duper awesome. Why does the car get ruffled? Simply because it has got a soft suspension setup which ruffles the car over really bad bumps, because then there is movement, obviously, without a doubt. Now, what I like is that, you know, this instrument cluster has this beautiful speed dial going on the top. So speedometer is down as well, it's on the top as well. Why do we need 2 of them? Well, we do. And this tachometer is kind of on the useless side. It's of no use at all. Get into the gas mid-range punch really excites you because it has got a lot of grunt in the mid-range, and obviously you can use the paddles also to shift gears. I can press this button M here to get into manual mode. Now we are into manual mode. Now when I rev it, you can hear a lot more inside the cabin. Yeah, that engine gets super duper vocal. Now, this is a 2-litre diesel engine which is producing 177 PS of power. Meanwhile, the torque output is an impressive 400 Newton meters, 50 Newton meters more than what would be offered, or rather what is being offered by, of course, the Jeep Compass, the MG Hector, the Tata Harrier, and all those cars which are using a 2-litre diesel engine. Now, it doesn't give you complete manual control of things, which is a disappointing part, but for the most part, you don't have much to complain about because the overall performance is very impressive. Now, it redlines at around 4,500 RPM. No, it's going almost till 5,000 RPM. So that is the level of grunt on offer. Actually, it doesn't have lane keep assist. Normal mode was probably when I turned off traction control now. It actually puts traction control back on automatically. So you can't really keep the traction control off for long, because it just puts it back on. Why does it do that? Because these 5 terrain modes is actually, it's a ESP mode which just ensures that you can go a bit off the road. Obviously, this is a front wheel drive car and it feels light, nimble, easy and agile to drive. Steering is super duper light. I'm very impressive with steering wheel for city drivability. Out on the highway, weighs up decently well, although it could have done with, you can hear the wheel spin, it could have done with more feel and feedback, without a doubt. Motor feels really peppy, really punchy and pushes hard and fast as well. But the instrument cluster gives you a different experience altogether because the way it behaves. High-speed stability is very nice for a car which is actually having a very soft suspension. In fact, they call it the comfort class drive, this particular drive which I'm doing right now. The media drive is known as the comfort class drive. It is very comfortable a car. The suspension is fantastic. The seats are fantastic. And this is a car which can actually genuinely take 5 people in utmost comfort. That is the level of comfort which is on offer from the C5 Aircross. Now, of course, this car will compete with a lot of other soft-roaders, but the problem is this is a front-wheel drive car. Meanwhile, its competitors are also having 4-wheel drive as an option, like the Jeep Compass, of course, because it is the Jeep. It has to have 4-wheel drive. It cannot be offered with front-wheel drive. Braking performance is actually quite nice. However, I'm not really happy with the pedal feel. The pedal feel could have been more positive. It could have been more progressive. It just feels a little jerky to me. Horn is quite nice, huh? Very nice a horn as such. Now, another interesting bit about this car is the fact that it gets mood lighting too. So, Citroen has actually, yeah, there you hear the wheel spin because, of course, traction control was off at 60 km per hour. It turns on traction control. Yeah, it does that. It chup-chap se turns on traction control, which is kind of beating the point of actually having a traction mode, but then it is solely for off-road driving. When you're driving off-road, that is when you probably want to turn off traction control. Grip levels are fantastic. It feels very grippy. Obviously, there's body roll around the corners. You can feel the roll. Obviously, there is quite a lot of roll. But you know what? This car is very progressive in the way it drives at high speed. Steering wheel could definitely do with more feel and feedback. Although in sport mode, you get a little bit more punch. You get slightly more feel from the steering wheel. Eco mode obviously does it down, and I think there's a third mode as well, which is a normal mode, which there's no button for it. If I turn off sport mode here, I think we are in normal mode right now. In eco mode, performance definitely gets dull, but fuel efficiency improves. In fact, fuel efficiency is very impressive by ARAI standards. I think in the real world, you should get around 12 to 13 kilometers per liter, which again is very impressive. I can't drive in eco mode. We are in sport mode right now. That long press is something I don't understand why you need to do a long press. come on. Yeah, the initial grunt and the lack of turbo lag is super duper impressive in this Citroen C5 Aircross, because it just makes this car so punchy, easy and fluid to drive as well, and it reaches 100 km/h in no time at all. In fact, I reckon it should go from 0 to 100 km/h somewhere around 9 seconds, which makes it quite quick. Now this is a 8-speed torque converter gearbox, which happens to be smooth with shifts, not the fastest with shifts, but it's smooth enough, and the ratios are so well specced out now. You don't really get into the top end of the rev range, because you don't need to get in the top end of the rev range, because once you get in the top end of the rev range, you can hear a lot more inside the cabin, and that top end isn't really ballistic as such, because obviously they've concentrated more towards giving it great drivability, where they have been extremely successful, and it also has supremely impressive mid-range punch as well. So these two factors really contribute in making this C5 Aircross a very comfortable, easy and practical car to drive. In fact, taking a U-turn, no issue at all, in spite of the size. It's not really big as such, but still the steering is super duper light. Get onto the gas, yeah, it's always ready to spin its wheels. And then you can see the traction control light blinking, even though ESP is still on. We turn it off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, rev still almost 3000 RPM. Quite a lot of wheel spin on offer. You see the blind spot monitor there. It's actually small in terms of size, could have been slightly bigger. Just a dot which comes there, yeah, compared to what Mercedes offers. It is on the smaller side, but still very impressive a car. The best thing about the Citroen C5 Aircross is the fact that it has a personality of its own. It's not another Me Too vehicle. It's something which is different, it's unique, and certainly feels well put together. It is a car which will attract a lot of people for sure, only the hiccup being obviously Citroen's really small sales and service network in India, which once expanded might attract a lot more buyers. And considering how people have been attracted towards MG and Kia, I feel Citroen is on the right path. Only thing is that we need obviously mass market cars, and this particular segment isn't a big one as such, because the amount of competition or number of sales happening here are not that much. Again, soft roader. If it was not a soft roader, then obviously it has to compete with the big daddy of them all, the Toyota Fortuner. Quite a lot of wheel spin. Yeah, loves to spin its wheels without any doubt. And I love the fact that, you know, smoothness and drivability, linearness of the performance is what really impresses me with this Citroen C5 Aircross. So of course it's going to compete with the Jeep Compass and the Honda CR-V and the Hyundai Tucson as well. But you know, honestly, this is more of a brand building exercise for Citroen, because obviously not going to get much volumes from a car of this price or of this size. Which brings me to the price of this car. Two variants are on offer. I think it's going to start from rupees 30 lakhs or so. On-road price for the top end variant should go around 33-34 lakhs, which is, yeah, a little bit on the expensive side, considering Citroen's brand presence in the Indian market will require a lot of effort to be established. So guys, this is my vlog of the Citroen C5 Aircross. If you like this vlog, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's a like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye, take care.